On guard! Welcome to Comic Basics. I'm Joel, and today's episode, the top 10 comic book superheroes who use swords. Long gone are the good old days when high praise went to all the superheroes who use swords. These heroes didn't require any special powers or abilities to help them achieve victory in battle. Instead, they wielded their trusty sword and sliced their way to victory. If you miss those days, like I do, don't fret. There's still a small group remaining of superheroes who use swords. Now, I'm not saying that each doesn't possess some sort of other power to help them in battle, mainly because most heroes have as many powers as I have fingers. What I am saying, however, is that each is at the top of their class when it comes to sword use. They are the best of the best, if you will, and I'd like to count them down for you. So with that, I'd like to present to you the top 10 superheroes who use swords. I always have trouble putting Deadpool on any of my lists, and I'll tell you why. Since his creation, Deadpool has become so popular that he's found everywhere. Granted, he is a really great read, but sometimes I think it's just too much. That aside, Deadpool is one of the greatest superheroes who use swords. As evident by any of his movies or comic book appearances, Deadpool can always be found walking around with two giant katanas on his back. And the katanas aren't just for show. Deadpool has maimed, decapitated, killed, and butchered many of his enemies with them. Say what you want about her history, Psylocke is one of the greatest superheroes who uses swords. The Psylocke sword is different from any that her opponents would carry. Her sword isn't made from metal, steel, or a magical spell. Her sword is made up from the energy that her body gives off. Called the psionic blade, the sword is capable of slicing through the toughest of materials as if it were snow. But that isn't all. The psionic blade is also able to instantly kill her opponents and cause immeasurable pain. Katana is the on and off again anti-hero most closely associated with the Suicide Squad. She possesses the Soul Taker, and the Soul Taker is one of the most interesting swords in DC. As a regular sword, the Soul Taker is extremely powerful. As a sword with special abilities, it's on another level. After the sword strikes down its opponent in battle, the soul of whomever it is defeated becomes trapped inside the sword. This means that the Soul Taker has amassed an uncountable amount of souls. Once imprisoned inside the sword, the user of the sword is able to communicate with the souls of its victim. As far as X-Men go, Magic has one of the most bizarre stories in history. She is the younger sister of Colossus and remained that way for most of her existence. Eventually, she wound up trapped in a limbo dimension. While there, she became immensely powerful and created what's come to be known as the Soul Sword. The Soul Sword is the byproduct of Magic causing her own energy to physically form in front of her. When this happens, she draws the Soul Sword from it. Blade is a half-vampire whose only goal in life is to rid the world of vampires. Even though Blade can be found carrying weapons of all sorts on his body, it's his swords that he most trusts. At nearly all times, Blade carries double-edged swords. These swords, as you'd probably expect, enable Blade to slice through his enemies, vampires included, quicker than I can cut up a watermelon. If you were quick enough, you might have seen Black Knight's armor in the vault during Spider-Man Far From Home. If you didn't, it didn't change the outcome of the movie, so you didn't miss much. Black Knight is one of the most rumored characters coming to the MCU, and for good reason. As one of the premier superheroes who uses swords in Marvel, he's both deadly and dangerous. Black Knight wields the ebony blade, and with it, is incredibly powerful. Not only is the blade incapable of causing harm to Black Knight, but it's also able to absorb energy, cut through practically anything, and deflect energy. Whether or not you've seen it during her various MCU appearances, Gamora's Godslayer is one of the most feared swords in existence. Gamora has created a reputation for herself as the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. She is capable of standing toe-to-toe with just about anyone, and almost always leaves the battle the victor. The Godslayer was a gift given to her by Thanos to strike down Magus. Not much is known about the sword, but what we do know is that the sword is capable of killing gods. Sif is one of the fiercest warriors in all of Asgard. Not only is she the goddess of hunt and harvest, but she is also one of Thor's most trusted friends. She has followed him and the Warriors 3 into battle and emerged victorious when most others have died. Sif is capable in battle with most handheld weapons, but it's the sword she prefers. And not just any sword. Sif carries an extremely powerful sword that enables her to dimensionally travel in seconds. That means that if the time zones align, Sif could be on 2 planets at once. It should come as no surprise that Wonder Woman is on this list. As one of the big 3 superheroes for DC, she's important, powerful, and one of the best sword users in comics. Her sword, Sword of Athena, came to her after the original sword, the God Killer, was broken in battle. The nature of the Sword of Athena is not entirely known, although we do know one thing. It doesn't matter what the sword can do because Wonder Woman is holding it. Wonder Woman is the pinnacle of DC's superheroines, and she could be holding a toothpick and it would still be considered a dangerous weapon. Valkyrie is an Asgardian, and as such, has most traits that you'd think come with being one. She's nearly immortal, has superhuman strength, speed, and durability, and is capable of beating anyone in battle, Thor included. Further to these, she's also the leader of Odin's famed Valkyrie, or the warrior woman who preside over the battlefields of fallen men. At the side of Valkyrie lies the Dragon Fang. The Dragon Fang is a sword that is said to be carved from the tooth of an extra-dimensional dragon. Although the Dragon Fang looks like a normal sword, it isn't. The sword is both able to absorb magic and shatter mystical barriers. And I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks for coming out. I hope you'll come back, and until then, I'll catch you next time.